Participating advertisers in Cubs baseball are Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Toyota dealers who remind you to buckle up. Who could ask for anything more? Your neighborhood True Value hardware stores. They've got what it takes. Your neighborhood Unocal 76 dealers who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly sky. Zenith. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. The Chicago Tribune. A great city deserves a great newspaper. Your Chicagoland, Northern Indiana Better Buick dealer. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? And Canon. So advanced, it's the world's leader in 35mm photography.
Did you ever notice?
It's a beautiful day for baseball. Hello again, everybody. With Steve Stone, I'm Harry Carey. And I tell you, we better enjoy this beautiful day because our next stop is Pittsburgh, and they tell me it's snowing there right now.
And I called ahead to Montreal, and it's cold there. But here in St. Louis, it's beautiful today, and a good day for two right-handers to hook up. Dennis Eckersley, who had a hard time with St. Louis last year, he was 0-3, and he'll be opposed by Rick Ownby, who's got a great arm, Harry, but he's been inconsistent during the course of his career.
Ownby now is around 28 years old, and he's been right on the threshold of pitching greatness. He's one of these kids with great natural talent who just simply hasn't been able to put it together. Last year he was with Louisville in the minor leagues where he won. With Steve Stone, Harry Carey back at Busch Memorial Stadium. Here are the lineups for today's game. For the Chicago Cubs, Dernier in center. Trio at third. Sandberg at second. Moreland in right. Durham at first. Davis the catcher. Dayette at third. Dunston the shortstop, and Eckersley the pitcher. For the Redbirds, Coleman in left, McGee in center, Herr at second, Clark at first, Van Slyke in right, Pendleton at third, Heath the catcher, Ozzie Smith at shortstop, and Rick Ownby, a 28-year-old right-hander, stands 6'3", 185-pounder, is the pitcher. The umpires are Terry Tata behind the plate, Jerry Crawford at first, Charlie Williams at second, Harry Wendelstedt at third, and Bobby Dernier, 1 out of 4 in the opener, steps into the batter's box. We're ready to play baseball. Hope you'll enjoy it. Low outside, ball one. This is the problem for Ownby. He has the pitches, but he's had trouble with his control. The delivery. Ball 2 low and outside.
That's his biggest problem. Whitey Herzog, when asked if Ownby had added another pitch to his repertoire, he said, yeah, it's a strike, because that's been the only thing that's kept him out of the major leagues these last 3 years.
2 balls, no strikes, the pitch. There's a fastball. Right down the middle. Looked like he let up a little bit to get it over. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch. Ground ball. Nice play by Pendleton. He's out at first base. Boy, oh boy, these Redbirds just kill you with their defense. Many third basemen would have just waved at that ball as it went into the corner for a double.
Pendleton made a great play backhanding this one. Watch how quickly he gets up and fires it across, and the throw, if you'll notice, is right on the money. And Pendleton has turned out to be one of the finest defensive third basemen in the game. He is quick as a cat.
Here's Manny Trio. That's why mediocre pitchers win for the Cardinals. They have such a magnificent defense around them. 1 out, nobody on. Fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 away, Manny Trio. Looking for his first hit of the new season. Slider outside, ball 2. Terry Tata, the plate umpire.
Ownby is a big man. He's 6'3", 185 pounds. Out of Corona, California.
Ball 3 is low. 3 balls. No strikes. Manny Trio, the hitter. Ryan Sandberg on deck. Elsie and John Heller from Tucson, Arizona are here. Die-hard Cub fans. Strike call. 3 balls and a strike.
Cubs are going to have to be patient with Ownby today. If they can get a couple of walks from him, they might be able to set up their offense.
The delivery. Strike 2 over the outside corner. Carl and Susie Miller from Sacramento, California here on their way to Chicago to attend a Schurz High School reunion. 3-2, full count. Ball 4 is low. Here's Sandberg. Sandberg 2 out of 4 in the opener. The only player on either team to get 2 hits. Let's see, our first 2 notes up here have been from Tucson, Arizona, and from Sacramento, California. And wherever you're watching, we hope you're enjoying it. Curve outside. He's been struggling. Good time to get on to this guy early. Don't give him a chance to settle down. 1 ball, no strikes. Tall, rangy right-hander delivers. There goes the runner to Peg. Here's a wild pitcher out there. Can't get the ball over.
Heath has a strong arm, and he gets the ball down there in plenty of time. This might have been the hit and run. The pitch wasn't a good one. I can't believe it's a straight steal with Manny Trio running. He doesn't have that kind of speed. But the throw is right on the money, and Manny Trio is out by a long way.
Here's the pitch now. Line drive. Foul ball outside third base. He broke his bat on that. Oh, it had to be a hit and run. Somebody must have missed the sign. Maybe the runner mistook it. Maybe the hitter did. But it's unfortunate because Ownby is struggling with his control. The count on Sandberg was 2-0. 2 out, nobody on. Moreland on deck. Ball 3.
He hasn't gotten a breaking pitch over the plate yet, and if this pattern continues, he's going to have some problems. He's got a good fastball. It's 91, 92 miles an hour. But like all pitchers in the major leagues, you've got to get the breaking pitches over.
Gets it over the outside corner. A good strike. There's Whitey Herzog, the manager of the Cardinals. Ball, he walked him. That's 2 walks in a row. And all the Cubs have is no runs, 2 out, and a runner at first.
Number 6, right fielder Keith Moreland.
The Duchis are here. They're from Decatur, Illinois. Which reminds me of my good friend Bob Skeffington, the Budweiser distributor there, and brother of my dear friend Peggy Gone. Here's a pitch low and inside. Moreland had 1 out of 4 in the opener. Nowhere near the crowd we had opening night, a record-breaking crowd, by the way. There's a drive, but it'll go foul into the left field corner. Jim Fry, the manager of the Cubs. Cubs have had all kinds of problems with the Cardinals since last year. Cardinals beat them 14 out of 18 last year and beat them opening night 2-1. The year before, when the Cubs won the division, they beat the Cardinals at will. 13 out of 18. Moreland, leading RBI man on the club. Good fastball. And I'm afraid if this fella gets through the first inning, he's got good pitches. If he starts getting him over, he could be tough to beat. 1-2 the count. Ball. There goes the runner. The peg. He is safe. They might have had him, but the ball popped out of Tommy Herr's mitt.
This was a tough ball for Mike Heath to handle. Take a look at it. It's a low and away breaking ball, but he comes up with it, makes a fine throw to second base. And there's a good chance, as you said, Harry, that he would have been out, but Sandberg sliding right into the throw knocks the ball away. Charlie Williams on the call. Will take another look at it. A good slide by Sandberg. He arrives at the same time as the ball, and it gets away.
So it's a stolen base for Sandberg, his first of the year. He'll have many. Fooled him with a let-up. Ozzie Smith throws him out. So it's no runs, no hits, no errors. One left. We go in the bottom of the first. No score. Harry Carey back at Bush Memorial Stadium as we go into the bottom of the first. Dennis Eckersley on the hill. And now this is something to keep in mind, Steve. The only type of hitter gives Eckersley trouble is a left-handed hitter. The Cardinals have 5 switch hitters in their lineup, so he's going to have to face a lot of left-hand hitters.
And trouble comes for Dennis Eckersley at the top of the order for the Cardinals. Last year, Coleman was 4 for 11, McGee was 4 for 11, and Herr was 3 for 10. So if he can get by them, he's got Jack Clark 0 for 10 from last year, but the first 3 hitters are danger for Eckersley.
Here's Vince Coleman. He was hitless in the opener, 0 for 4. So was Willie McGee. So was Tommy Herr. When you hold the top 3 men in their batting order hitless, you usually beat them. But because of John Tudor's masterful pitching, the Cardinals nevertheless won Tuesday night 2-1. High pop foul. Everybody chasing it. One and one. The count is evened up.
They've kept the ball away from Coleman thus far, and they've had good success. He flew out twice to left field opening night. And Whitey Herzog is trying to get Vince Coleman to be a little more patient. Take a walk if the pitcher wants to give it to him. And he pointed out his last time up, he had a 2-0 count against Jay Baller in the 8th inning. The Cardinals needed a run, and Coleman swung at the pitch. Herzog viewed that as a mistake.
Fastball outside, ball 2. They're here from Teutopolis, Illinois, home of the 1986 Class A boys and girls state basketball champs. Strike called over the outside corner at the knee. 2-2. There's John Tudor, a magnificent winner over Rick Sutcliffe, who deserved a better fate Tuesday night. 2-2 pitch. Way wide, ball 3.
Coleman stole 3 out of 4 bases last year against Eckersley, so he wants to keep him off the bases, especially to lead off the first inning.
3-2 pitch. When you walk this fella, it's almost tantamount to giving him a double or a triple. Ball 4, he walked it. Well, the ball game starts now with Coleman on first base.
Number 51.
A group of fans here pulling for the Cubs from Louisville, Kentucky.
A few years back they talked about Billy Ball, but this is really Cardinal baseball. They get a man on via a walk, and then they set everything in motion. Good hit and run possibilities or just straight steal.
Eckersley, Coleman a lead. Good strike call. Fastball right in there. Willie McGee was 0 for 4 Tuesday night. Led the league in hitting with a .353 average last season. MVP, most valuable player. Coleman is back.
One of the reasons why he hit so well last year was situations just like this. Pitchers don't like to throw him anything off speed because if Coleman's going, you can't throw him out. So Willie McGee sees a lot of fastballs.
There's the pitch. A little tap. The only play will be first base. They get him. From Eckersley to Durham. Boy, there's never an easy play against the Cardinals because they're all so fast, and everybody in the infield has that on his mind, and everybody tries to hurry every play. And, of course, that enhances the chances of making a mistake.
And you saw it on the last play when Dennis Eckersley went after that ball with his bare hand. And for all you young pitchers out there, if you have a moment, catch the ball with your glove. If you barehand it, more times than not, you're going to juggle it or drop it. Eckersley, respecting the speed of Willie McGee, went after that one with his pitching hand.
Jack Clark on deck. If he could get her, he pitches well against Clark, who's a right-handed hitter. There's a strike. Dunston had cut in behind Coleman expecting a throw. And actually the shortstop position was unguarded because he had not been able to return. But Eckersley had already started his delivery. Coleman right next to the turf, off the dirt. Good lead now. Not likely to try with the left-hand hitter. There's a smash to Sandberg. Over to first, easy out. Here's Jack Clark, their big RBI man.
Number 22, first baseman Jack Clark.
This is going to be an interesting confrontation because all last year Dennis Eckersley buzzed him up and in and struck him out consistently. Clark was 0 for 10 against Eckersley in '85. And he just couldn't seem to catch up to that high fastball. Believe me, it's on the mind of both Clark and Eckersley. They both realize how Dennis worked him last season.
Jack Clark deep in the batter's box. Slider outside. You know, Bill James is the author of a book called The Baseball Abstract. Most interesting book. And one of the interesting facts to be gleaned from it, Louis had a good cut and he fouled it back. And it surprised me to learn that one of the best two-out run producers in either league is this Jack Clark. I never knew he came through that often. 1-1 pitch. Swung and he missed. Low and outside. Clark goes to the opposite field at times against it.
He's very strong and he's got a good level swing, hits line drives. He doesn't feel he's a pure home run hitter, but he's got so much power that it goes out of the ballpark a lot.
Foul tipped. He's still alive. Jack the Ripper up there. It was his home run, a dramatic home run that won the National League pennant for the Cardinals. One and two the count. High inside. Then the Cardinals went into Kansas City and won the first two games of the World Series. They were 2 up coming home, and the odds were heavily in their favor. But somehow, some way, Kansas City won the World Championship. High pop foul, back out of play.
He's thrown him 2 straight fastballs, inner half up. And this is a time to start looking away with that good slider. Dennis appears to have a good one today. Clark doesn't hit the breaking ball quite as well as he does the fastball, like most major league hitters.
Coleman, the runner at third. Tried him high and inside, and the count is full. And Andy Van Slyke, who drove in the only 2 runs for the Cardinals Tuesday night, is on deck. Three and two. 2 out, a runner at third. Big pitch. Whoa! He wanted that pitch, but he didn't get it from the plate umpire, Terry Tata.
Last year, through June 1st, Eckersley only walked 12 men. He's walked 2 this inning. He thinks he's got the inside corner, but the ball tails inside. It's off the plate. Good eye by Jack Clark. And it sets up an opportunity that Andy Van Slyke is going to see a lot this year. The pitcher throwing around Clark to get to him.
Van Slyke, a fine fastball hitter. Although his base hit that drove in the only 2 runs Tuesday night was off a curveball. Fouled it out of play, strike 1.
Andy told me before the game that he's going to be looking for everything away from Eckersley. He said all last year he worked him with that little sinker away, and he's going to try to drive the ball to left center field.
The outfield straight away and deep. The Cubs looking for a split here in this 2-game series. Just a little bit outside. A ball and a strike. He barely missed on a 3-2 pitch to Coleman. He barely missed on a 3-2 pitch to Clark. Just missed outside. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9 Chicago, where each evening at 9 o'clock you see the news. 2 balls and a strike. Line drive, base hit. 1 run is in. The Cardinals have taken the lead. Van Slyke has driven in every run the Cardinals have scored this year. 3.
After 3 straight outside pitches, Dennis comes in a little bit, and Andy Van Slyke drives it over the head of Sandberg. Van Slyke is swinging the hot bat early for the Cardinals.
Batting 6th, number 9.
Here's Terry Pendleton, a switch hitter. 6 of their hitters bat left-handed today against Eckersley. The base on balls led to 2 runs Tuesday night. The base on balls has already led to a run today. Boy, Terry Tata really squeezes, and Eckersley is angry, and Tata now is going out to warn him. He hasn't given him 1 single pitch.
Every umpire has his different interpretation of the strike zone. Some are a little more lenient. Some will give you something up and not something down, and vice versa. Tata thus far has looked like he's been very tight on the corners. Eckersley has been visibly upset by it, and Jim Fry wants to go out to calm him down, tell him not to let the game get out of his hands, and let's get the Cardinals out and let our offense do some work.
I think he was waiting for Terry Tata so he could say a few words. He cannot complain about the call of balls as strikes. It's an automatic ejection. 1 ball, no strikes. Pendleton, the hitter, runners at 1st and 3rd. Van Slyke, a good base stealer. Ball is outside. Unusual for Eckersley to walk 2 men in 9 innings, let alone in 1 inning. There goes the runner. High drive, deep left field. Day at back. He'll make the catch to retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 1, the Cardinals are out in front, 1-0. Harry Carey back at Bush Memorial Stadium. There's a very interesting study of Jim Fry.
Number 10, first baseman.
Here's Leon Durham. Let's get some run. Curveball is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Owenby struggled through the 1st inning. Swung at a fastball and he missed. It's evened up, a ball and a strike, 1-0. The Cardinals are leading.
They play Leon Durham well off the line at third base.
Let up pitch high and outside. 2 balls and a strike. He's been behind almost every hitter. Rick Cohenby popped it up. Short left field. Should be an easy out. Coleman is there, and he has it. Here's Jody Davis.
Betting 6, number 7.
Boy, the last game of the exhibition season, the Cubs pounded out 19 hits and 13 runs.
They should have saved some.
Should have saved a lot of them. I guess it makes a difference who you're playing, doesn't it?
And which park you're in, certainly.
Fastball low.
One thing about the Cardinals, Harry, you have to earn your hits. You're not going to get any cheapies in the outfield. They cover so much ground that you've got to really drive the ball to get it between them.
Slow curve in there, a strike call. A ball and a strike, 1 out, nobody on. Jody Davis at the plate. He was hitless opening night. Low and outside, ball 3. Three and 1 the count. 1 out, nobody on. Joe Mondelli on hand here today, along with his friend Aldo. They flew in from Chicago to see the game. There's a high fly ball. That'll be caught, though. Willie McGee. There's Brian Dayette.
Betting 7.
Hitless opening night.
Left fielder Brian Dayette.
With the registration of each out, you can see Owen be getting a little more confident out there. Fastball low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Harry, he still hasn't gotten his breaking pitch over the plate, and a hitter like Brian Dayette, who loves to hit fastballs, might take advantage of that situation.
Fastball low. 2 balls, no strikes. Sean Dunston on deck. He was swinging with 2-0, but fouled it off. Dunston in the batter's circle made a one-handed grab of the foul ball. 2 balls and a strike. Dunston looking back towards the Cub dugout. Dayette was talking to the plate umpire. Ball is low.
Dayette wanted him to move the rosin bag. It was up on the mound next to him, and something white in the hitter's field of vision sometimes detracts from the baseball.
3-1 pitch. Walked him. That's the 3rd walk he's given already.
Betting 8, number 12. Shortstop Sean Dunston.
Here's Dunston.
Mike Heath is coming back to get a new catcher's glove. The last pitch ripped the webbing out of the one he was wearing.
Dunston looking for his first hit. Dayette talking to Billy Williams down at third base, at first base rather, or rather to Ruben Amaro.
He's asking about the move of Ownby. I don't believe he's seen him. And there's scouting reports on all of the pitchers move to first base, how long it takes them to deliver the ball to home plate. Dayette wants to just get the whole rundown from Ruben Amaro.
Right in there, a fastball strike call. Jim Presley of the Seattle Mariners had quite a night. 6 RBIs. There's a drive, but foul into the left field corner. Dunston showed a home run power on that one, but unfortunately foul. Time call for a moment. Fastball low and outside. He tried to put a little extra on that one.
Danny Cox was supposed to pitch this game for the Cardinals, but he's got a chip fracture on his ankle. He did it going fishing, jumping off a high wall, and he should be out another week.
Whoa, that pitch was high and inside. Dunston could not check his swing and fouled the pitch off.
There's Danny Cox, itching to get back into the battle. He had such a good year last year. He says his arm feels fine. He's just waiting for that fracture to heal. And Whitey Herzog is hoping he gets back in a hurry.
Owen be ready. There goes the runner low outside. There's the peg. He is out. That's a second man thrown out trying to steal. So we go into the bottom of the second. Cardinals are leading 1-0. With Steve Stone, Harry Carey back at Bush Memorial Stadium. Here's Mike Heath, the catcher. He's already thrown 2 men out trying to steal. A little strange in that 2 of the slowest men in the lineup are the ones who have tried to steal. Manny Trio and Brian Dayette. I guess Jody Davis will be next. Fastball inside.
Well, I'm all for aggressive baseball, but you've got to pick your spots. I think that time Jim Fry probably felt he didn't want to lead off with a pitcher, but Dayette is one of the least likely to take off and steal a base.
Bouncing ball. Dunston's going to fire for the out. Oh, what a great arm that kid has. That was a big high hopper off the AstroTurf.
His arm brings oohs and ahs from the crowd after he throws it. He takes a lot of time. You start thinking maybe he won't get him, and all of a sudden he just pours it across. And he has him easily at first base.
One man out. Arnie says so far as the cameras on Dunston's throws. There's a pitch swung on by Ozzie Smith. And Moreland's back at the warning track. He really tried to jerk one out of here. Ozzie Smith on the first pitch flies deep to Moreland. Here now is Rick Owenby, the pitcher. He throws the ball so hard that the cameras have difficulty picking the throw up, much like a puck in hockey. So they have to sort of film it in slow motion. Swings and he misses. 1 strike to nothing. Right, oh, good stop by Eckersley. 1-2-3, nothing across. At the end of 2, the Redbirds are out in front 1-0.
Somebody have any change? Pepsi, the voice of a new generation.
Harry Carey back in St. Louis. We're going to the top of the 3rd. Sean Dunston will be leading it off. Dave Johnson, sports editor of the Evansville, Indiana Press, watching the game here today. His parents, Gus and Betty Johnson, are watching in Monmouth, Illinois. Dunston looking for his first hit. Had a good cut at a curveball and he missed. O&B comes directly over the top. Good fastball, good curve. Dunston got around late on a fastball and he's in the hole. 0-2.
O&B's last major league win was in 1983. And the only other game that he's won in the major leagues came as a starter in 1982. He's 2-8 lifetime in the big leagues. Whitey Herzog is hoping that this is the year when he finally establishes himself.
Curveball outside. Well, it's amazing what Whitey does with no-name pitchers. Turns them into 20-game winners. Even Tudor wasn't exactly a well-known winner. Bouncing ball, too short. Ozzie Smith will throw him out. One gone. Here's Eckersley.
Well, it doesn't matter where Ozzie gets the ball, whether it's deep in the hole or over second base or on the run moving in. The ball doesn't seem to go over there quickly. It just gets there a step ahead of the runner every time.
I think he's changed the style of playing shortstop. Shortstops used to go to their right, brace themselves on the rear foot, and then Powder River the throw back over to first base. Here's a high pop foul. Heath's got to play. Makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. But Ozzie is always on the move. He's always throwing while running in one direction or another.
Well, he doesn't have that big gun at shortstop, so he realized early in his career that he had to get rid of the ball quickly. I don't think anybody gets it from the glove over to first base more quickly than Ozzie Smith.
Here now is Bobby Dernier. He bounced out his first time. A little bit low. 2 men are out. Ball game in the top of the third. 1-0 Cardinal. There's a good curve. Now the count is even and a ball and a strike. Curveball inside. Manny Trio on deck. Beautiful afternoon. Bright sunshine. Fly ball to center field. Easy out. Willie McGee. 1-2-3. Nothing across. He's getting progressively better. We're going to the bottom of the third. St. Louis 1, Chicago 0.
The dispute over lights at Wrigley Field returns, with the two sides in the controversy now arguing about a survey of businessmen in Wrigleyville. Details tonight at 9.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go to the bottom of the third with Vince Coleman leading it off. Bouncing ball, that ought to be easy. Over to first for the out. Coleman jumping on the first pitch, rolls out. He's 0 for 5 for the new season without a stolen base.
Center fielder, Willie
There's
McGee.
Willie McGee looking for his first hit. O&B started really struggling in the first inning. With 1 out, he walked Trio. Trio, with a count 2-0 on Sandberg, tried to steal and was thrown out. Then Sandberg walked, but Moreland bounced out. In the second inning, he was still struggling, but not quite as much. He walked Dayette with 2 out, and he was out stealing. Then in the third, he retired the side 1-2-3. So you can see progressively, he pitched a little better each inning. 1-2 the count on Willie McGee. Trio playing a wide third base. Tommy Herr on deck. Sandberg quickly throws him out on a good play. How about that? He made a Statue of Liberty grab and made the transition from his glove to his bare hand and flipped just in time for the out.
He knows he couldn't get the ball up, so he had to flip an underhand. And the key to this is what? Letting Leon Durham see the ball all the way. Now watch it. If he tries to throw it overhand, he can't get him. Good angle on the play. He gets him out, and what a play by Sandberg.
And what great camera work there, Arnie. Boy, that was a beautiful play. 2 out. Tommy Herr. Eckersley is ready. Boy, how about the Dodgers and the Padres? There's a ground ball. Durham's got it. Pitcher covering far. The out. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. Dwayne Stats will be joining Steve in a moment. Harry Carey from St. Louis. We're at the end of 3. It's the Cardinals 1, the Cubs nothing.
What secrets lie hidden inside Al Capone's vaults? Find out when we open it on live television.
Coming Monday, April 21st at 7 to Channel 9.
Manny Trio to lead off the 4th inning, and he looks at a fastball high. Steve Stone along with Dwayne Stats taking you through the middle. Couple of unlikely base stealers for the Cubs.
Well, I think the Cubs are trying to force something here against the Cardinals, although with Ownby on the mound, a pitcher with control problems, at least a history of it, you might expect the Cubs to wait him out a little bit more.
He's had some control problems. He's walked 3, and now he falls behind on Manny Trio, 2-0. Trio to be followed by Sandberg and Moreland. Cubs trail 1-0. There's a fastball catching the outside corner. Only 1 hit in the ball game. That belonging to Andy Van Slyke, who has knocked in all 3 Cardinal runs in 1986. Line drive, base hit. Van Slyke over to cut it off, and Manny Trio has the first Cub hit of the ball game.
Well, if Ownby continues to have control problems, either walking hitters or falling behind him, you expect that sooner or later it has to cost him. As he tries to find the strike zone, you'll notice occasionally he'll take a little something off as he tries to hit the strike zone.
And the second time around, if you're not getting your curveball over the plate, hitters will take advantage of that. Sandberg drew a base on balls in the 1st inning. And he looks at an off-speed pitch for a strike. Outfield straight away for Rhino. Pendleton a little closer to the line than he's been on most of the Cub hitters. Another changeup catches the outside corner, and Sandberg quickly in a hole. 0-2.
You know, Ownby is right over the top with a lot of his pitches, and sometimes it's a little more difficult to be consistent that way with your release point. As a result, he'll have some control problems. A little easier if he drops down 3/4.
Mike Keith has already thrown out 2 of the 3 Cubs who have tried to steal against him. He averaged 35% last year throwing out base runners. The Cardinals as a team only threw out 23% of the base runners who tried to steal against them. So a vast improvement behind the plate for Whitey Herzog. That one almost gets away. Nice stop by Heath. And he gets a big hand from the crowd. They're going to appreciate this young man's catching.
Here's another look as he has to backhand this pitch from Ownby.
Base hit to right center. Manny Trio is going to make the turn. He's going to go to 3rd. Willie McGee cuts it off, gets it back in, and the Cubs are in business with runners at 1st and 3rd. Nobody out.
Well, Trio and Sandberg just stroking the ball into right center field, and this is the sort of thing that with Ownby out there you would hope would happen. Now the Cubs with a great chance to do some damage against the 28-year-old right-hander.
Ryne Sandberg has 3 hits thus far, and that's got to put a smile on the face of Jim Fry. Sandberg's April statistics: in 82 he hit 203, 83 167, 84 259, 85 only 192. So a lifetime 209 hitter in April, but this year he's out of the gate quickly. Outfield straight away from Moreland. Swings and misses a big curveball by Ownby. Off-speed pitch misses. 1-1. Well, Harry alluded to the great pitchers battle between the Dodgers and San Diego. San Diego scored 2 runs in 3 games and took 1 of 3 from the Dodgers. What great pitching the Dodgers have. Another good play by Heath.
Yeah, Welch turned in a great performance for them. That's the thing, even with the absence of Guerrero, you figure with the great pitching it's going to keep them there, and that's what the Cubs are hoping, that with the starting pitchers healthy, that will be enough to put them in the race, and then they hope they can put the other parts of their game together to win it.
Sandberg might be going on a 2-1 pitch to Moreland, trying to stay out of the double play. Fly ball center field. This could be long enough to score the run. Here comes Trio. Here comes the throw. Manny Trio scores and ties it up. Sacrifice fly for Keith Moreland.
Moreland, who drove in 106 runs last year, gets #1 of the season here on the fly ball to center field, chasing home Manny Trio. And McGee set up for the throw to the plate after the catch. See the throw moving up the first base side, and Trio scores easily. Heath turned immediately to make sure Sandberg hung on at first base.
Leon Durham flied out to left field to lead off the second. The Bull had 1 base hit against John Tudor opening night. Outfield straight away, very deep in right field. Off speed pitch for a strike. Ownby has stopped throwing a lot of breaking balls. He's gone to that straight change. I think he uses a forkball, and he's using it pretty well. He's getting that pitch over the plate along with his fastball. Boy, how many guys have gone to the forkball, Dwayne? It's a pitch of the 80s.
No question about that. You know, that giant camp in Arizona this spring was really something. I think they had 25 pitchers in camp, and 21 were throwing the forkball.
Good lead by Sandberg at first. Game tied at 1. Durham looks at a fastball down. Count evens at 1-1. We're in the top of the 4th here in St. Louis. A beautiful day for baseball. After the game, the Cubs head on to Pittsburgh for a 3-game series with the Pirates over the weekend. 2-1 count on Leon. 6:30 telecast tomorrow night. Mike Rourke comes out now to have a word with Ownby. And the second time around has been the charm for the Cubs. They're starting to get on to the pitches of Rick Ownby.
Ownby always has had a great arm. As a matter of fact, he is now the only thing the Cardinals have to show for the Keith Hernandez trade. Neil Allen long since departing the area here in St. Louis, and they have held out high hopes that Ownby could eventually put it together. But that control has been his problem since he broke in. He's averaged about 4.5 walks for every 9 innings in his pro career.
You think there's a little added pressure on him, Dwayne, with all the reporters talking about Ownby being the last man in the Hernandez trade?
I think there's no question that as much as a fellow like Ownby might want to play that down, there has to be some added pressure associated with that.
2-1 count on Leon Durham. Sandberg at first. Fly ball center field. Willie McGee camping under this one. And he makes the catch for out number 2. If you hit it in the air to center field, you can take that right turn. You're not going to get too much mileage out of that.
That can just about be said for any field. You hit the ball into the air here against the Cardinals, unless you can hit it over the fence,
which is not an easy task in Busch Memorial Stadium.
And these guys are so fast, you know, they might run back to the gate, open it, and go back and catch the ball and bring it back.
Jody Davis hit the ball well first time up, but flied out to Willie McGee in the second inning. And he looks at a fastball over the inside corner. Little altercation early in the game between Dennis Eckersley and Terry Tata, the umpire behind the plate. Eckersley wanted a couple of strikes on the corners. Tata thought they were wide, but things have settled down. That fastball misses. Count evens at 1-1.
Oh, and we thought he might have had a strike there. That pitch was very close.
Changeup misses high. Dan Gladden had 3 hits yesterday as San Francisco beat Houston for the 2nd straight time.
Let's see if the Cubs start Sandberg here on the 2-1 pitch to Jody.
He's holding, and Ownby falls behind 3-1. This is when the hitter starts choking down on the bat and looking for that fastball. A lot of home runs hit on 3-1 counts with pitchers struggling with their control. Jody takes a good rip and fouls it straight back. Full count. Sandberg will be going. So anything in the gap right now is going to score Sandberg from first base. If you're on first base, you got to be careful that the first baseman doesn't sneak in behind you on the pickoff attempt. Clark a couple steps in back of Sandberg. Fly ball right center field. Andy Van Slyke coming over, should have it easily. And he does, but not before the Cubs get a run on 2 hits. They leave one at the end of 3.5. The game's all tied at 1.
Leading off, first baseman Jack Clark.
Jack Clark to lead off the 4th inning. Off-speed pitch misses away. Clark drew a base on balls in the 1st inning. After going 0 for 10 against Eckersley last year, he worked him for a walk. Swings and misses a high fastball, and Dwayne, that's how Eckersley threw him all of 1985.
Worked very well too, didn't it? One of the few pitchers who actually owned Jack Clark last year.
One hopper by Dunston, base hit.
And just as we say that, what happens? Clark hit the ball sharply as anyone's hit it today.
Well, you're not going to hold down a hitter the caliber of Jack Clark forever, and that time a fastball down, which is what Jack Clark likes to hit.
He goes up there looking for the fastball all the time.
And the hottest member of the Cardinals, Andy Van Slyke, steps up. He singled in the only Cardinal run in the 1st inning.
His approach is a little different this year. His hands are down. You know, last year he used to have those hands up about shoulder high. And they've dropped them a little bit this year.
That'll make you a better breaking ball hitter, as we saw opening night. Good fastball for a strike. Van Slyke said all the trade rumors worked to his advantage. He said at times he questioned his own worth. He was being platooned and he struggled. He said, but he heard that a lot of clubs were interested in him, and it made him stop and think, hey, I'm a pretty good ball player. It certainly has paid dividends so far in '86. Off-speed pitch misses up. He's a likable young man, has a lot of tools. He can run, he's got a good arm, and he feels that he can hit left-handers, but Whitey Herzog platoons him with Tito Landrum.
The other thing dropping the hands does, Steve, is shorten that strike zone a little bit up. Otherwise, he was chasing some pitches that were high. He has more of a tendency to lay off them here with this approach.
Good fastball over the outside corner. Eckersley ahead 1-2. Jack Clark at first base, nobody out. 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. Both teams with 2 hits. Barely gets a piece of it, fouls it off, and the count holds at 1-2. One reporter went up to Jim Frey before the game and asked him if he thought it was essential that the Cubs win today to split the opening series in St. Louis. Jim Frey looked at him and he goes, no, I don't think a game in April with 160 left after today could possibly fall into that essential category. Fastball misses up high. 2-2. Terry Pendleton on deck. Eckersley had problems with the Cardinals in '85. He was 0-3 with a high 5.57 ERA. That one misses down. Full count on Van Slyke. Whitey Herzog, who's known as a very aggressive manager, likes to run all of his players. Clark doesn't have the greatest wheels. He had a knee operation a year and a half ago. Let's see what Whitey decides to do. Full count on Van Slyke. There goes Clark. He walked him. Ball 4.
You could see Eckersley keeping the last 2 pitches down and away. He has a little tail to his pitch there as he delivers sidearm, looking to get the ground ball and the potential double play out of Van Slyke, but he laid off both pitches and has drawn the 3rd walk of the ball game issued by Dennis Eckersley. Eckersley had walked only 2 men all spring, and I think last year in 21 of the 25 starts he made, walked 1 or less.
Up until June 1st last year, Dwayne, out of 436 hitters, he only walked 12. So this is an unusual circumstance for Dennis Eckersley. And he's in a jam. Cardinal runners at first and second, nobody out. Infield expecting bunt, but Terry Pendleton didn't show any of it. Now Manny Trio coming in to talk with Eckersley. Trio gets the sign from the dugout. Then he comes in and verbally tells Eckersley what the play is. There's 3 different plays off this type of defensive situation. And if Pendleton doesn't bunt, there's going to be some surprised Cubs in that infield. Durham very close at first, as is Trio at third. There's the bunt, and he misses. He was bunting for a base hit there. Pendleton hit .240 last year, but lifetime he's a .296 hitter against the Cubs. Fastball misses down. Pitches are starting to pile up for Dennis Eckersley. He's fallen behind 2-1 on Terry Pendleton. Clark at second, Van Slyke at first, nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. The game tied at 1. It's a good bunt. Manny Trio has one play. He makes it, and the sacrifice is accomplished. 5-4.
Good job by Pendleton. He's one of those fellows who may not have tremendous natural ability, but he's really worked hard here to make himself a good third baseman, and he contributes offensively. He's a pretty pesky hitter, and he does the things that he does well. Put down the sacrifice that time.
And there's nothing more difficult than bunting on AstroTurf. If you don't kill the ball in your hands, the ball gets to the infield much too quickly. That was an excellent bunt. Now Mike Heath comes up. He grounded a shortstop in the 2nd inning. Foul back this way. You got to play on that, Dwayne.
Just a little bit out of our range. We needed the net on that one with the extenders.
Runners at second and third, 1 out. Ozzie Smith on deck. Slider catches the inside corner.
Yeah, good pitch. You see Heath up there shaking his head. He'd given up on the pitch, and it broke just enough to catch the corner.
Outfield around towards right center for Mike Heath. He's got good power. Last year he had 13 home runs for Oakland. Oh, he hits him with a high inside fastball. And that's something that Dennis Eckersley doesn't want to do, and that shows you his control isn't quite how he wants it today.
Yeah, an 0-2 pitch. He was just trying to come up and in and set him up for a 1-2 pitch. Instead, the ball got away from him a little bit, and he rides it up and in and hits Mike Heath.
Boy, how many times have you seen that setup pitch just like that? Now Jim Fry coming out to talk with Dennis Eckersley, and the bullpen is going to get busy for the Cubs. Jim Fry knows that Ozzie Smith has had very good success with Dennis Eckersley coming into this one. Last year he was 4 for 8 against Eckersley, and the first time up he took a fastball, almost hit it out of the ballpark, driving Keith Moreland back to the warning track in right.
There's Dick Ruthven starting to loosen for the Cubs. He'll play that middle reliever role on this team to start the year.
Ozzie Smith has been an interesting player for the Cardinals in that everybody talks about his defense, and as Jim Fry said before the game, he's probably the best defensive shortstop he's ever seen. But last year he started to become a force offensively. Hit .276, was a big factor for the Cardinals. He hit 6 home runs with 54 RBIs, stealing 31 bases, and he hit the ball with authority at times.
One of the things he did last year, as opposed to previous seasons, is he was consistent in his approach. In prior years, he'd change his stance, he'd hold his hands differently. He took one approach and stayed with it all year.
Bases loaded, 1 out, and the fastball misses low to Ozzie Smith. Eckersley trying to keep the game tied at 1. Infield in at 3rd and 1st. Ozzie, a very good bunter. Fly ball to center field. Bobby Dernier on the run, and he can't get to it. Clark's going to score. Here comes Van Slyke, and the Cardinals go on top 3-1.
Eckersley got the pitch up. He hung it out there, and Ozzie just slapped it right back into center field. Here's another look. Pitch up and away, and Smith goes with it. Slapped the line drive, got it to drop in front of Bobby Dernier, who has to smother the ball out there on the AstroTurf. And the Cardinals score both Clark and Van Slyke.
Bobby Dernier did a good job on that one, not letting the ball get by him. Eckersley got a pitch where he didn't want it. He got it up and away from Ozzie Smith. Cardinals now out hitting the Cubs 3-2. They lead on the scoreboard 3-1. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Rick Ownby up, and the bunt in order. Pops it foul. Ownby grounded right back to Eckersley to end the second. A single by Jack Clark, a walk to Andy Van Slyke after a sacrifice by Pendleton. Eckersley let one get away from him and hit Mike Heath.
Going to be talking with third base coach Nick Leyva. This is one area where the AstroTurf really works in the to the disfavor of the hitter trying to put down that sacrifice bunt.
Durham charging at first. It's a good bunt. Eckersley has one play, makes it to Sandberg, and the sacrifice is accomplished. 1-4.
He really deadened the ball on that bunt as it came in. He let the ball hit the bat. He didn't go out and attack it at all and deaden it in the dirt part out in front of the plate.
That'll bring up Vince Coleman. He drew a base on ball, scored a run to lead off the first inning. Grounded to Sandberg in the third. He's 0 for 1. Doesn't have a hit this year. He's 0 for 5. Outfield straight away for Coleman and shallow. Great diving play by Manny Trio, retires the side, but not before the Cardinals get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 2, and at the end of 4 full innings, the Cardinals ahead 3-1. Steve Stone, Dwayne Statz, and Arnie Harris, the producer-director, taking you through the middle here in St. Louis. Well, uncharacteristic wildness on the part of Dennis Eckersley, Dwayne, has really told the story thus far.
Yeah, he's walked 3, and 2 of those have come back to really hurt him. He walked Coleman in the first, and he scored. He gave up the single to Clark in the 4th, and then walked Van Slyke, and both Clark and Van Slyke scored. Boy, a great catch, though, we should mention, by Manny Trio on that soft liner hit by Coleman. If he didn't come up with that ball, if it stays fair, it's 2 more runs for the Cardinals, and instead of it being a 3-1 ball game, it would be 5-1.
There is some outstanding performances early around baseball. Some great defensive plays and some guys hitting the ball well. Not many defensive plays are as good as this one, however.
Hitting on, left fielder Ryan Gayette.
Well, that's why Trio's in the lineup here against the Cardinals in this ballpark.
Brian Dayette drew a base on balls and was thrown out stealing in the second, and he looks at a breaking ball away. Whitey Herzog thought the move that Jim Fry made with Dayette in left and Trio at third was a correct one, even though it didn't work out very well opening night. He says that in this ballpark you really have to go for whatever speed you have in defense, and you got to figure that with Tudor and Sutcliffe on the mound it's going to be a close ball game, and he was exactly right. The Cubs just didn't score. Curveball misses again.
Well, there's no greater testimony to that than the makeup of this St. Louis ball club itself. Herzog has designed this club for this park.
Fly ball center field. Willie McGee right in his tracks, and he makes the catch for out number 1. You know, I think it's a testament to Whitey and his ball club, Dwayne, that so many teams have to change their defensive alignment when they play the Cardinals. I mean, you got to really be concerned with their speed, and there's not a whole lot of clubs in baseball that make you change your game plan to suit their club.
Yep. And all he wants to do is to see his pitchers throw strikes and his hitters put the ball into play.
Sean Dunston looks at a fastball down. Dunston grounded to his counterpart Ozzie Smith in the 3rd inning. Good fastball catches the outside corner. Well, Kurt Gibson out to an outstanding start for the Detroit Tigers, only hitting .778 with 6 runs batted in and 2 homers. Not a bad start. Broken bat. Tommy Herr picks it off the AstroTurf. Fine play by Tommy Herr.
That ball flutters out toward second base. On the right side as Herr, scooting to his left, comes up with a shoestring catch. The first base umpire, Jerry Crawford, in perfect position to make that call.
Dennis Eckersley popped up to Mike Heath in the 3rd inning. Outfield around towards right. And Ownby misses with a fastball. Ownby walked 2 men in the 1st inning, walked a man in the 2nd, hasn't walked one since. That one's fouled off to the right. That's the real big battle for Rick Ownby, is battling his own control. Whitey Herzog feels that if this man can just throw strikes, he can be a big addition to their starting rotation. But Herzog makes no secret of the fact that he's looking for another starting pitcher. One and 2 count on Eckersley. 2 out in the Cub half of the 5th inning. Cubs trail 3-1. Count evens at 2-2.
You know, in this ballpark and with this defense behind them, it really is an instance of where it may be easier to pitch in the big leagues than it is the minor leagues for some of these Cardinal pitchers.
Strike 3 call. 3 up and 3 down for Rick Ownby. An easy inning. End of 4 1/2. The Cards lead it 3-1. We're back at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, where Dennis Eckersley will face Willie McGee, Tommy Herr, and Jack Clark. A lot of Cub fans in attendance, and you're watching WGN TV Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station. Gives you some idea what kind of a day it is here. Beautiful afternoon.
We hear they have a little snow in Pittsburgh. How about that?
Canceled the game today. I'm very excited about going there after this one. Did you bring your long johns?
I got my top coat.
Willie McGee looks at 1 up. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice, once to Eckersley, once to Sandberg. Outfield around toward right. And Willie McGee looks at a fastball away.
Eckersley needs a very good inning here to reassert the Cubs charge in this game. Rick Ownby has shown signs of taking charge here the last couple innings.
Good sinker catches the outside corner. 1 and 2. Fouled off down the left side. Well, you don't want to fall too far behind this ball club, because not only do they keep putting the pressure on you offensively, but because you don't hit many home runs in the park, it's tough to claw your way back from too far. So Eckersley has got to hold him right here. He got him swinging. Strike 3.
Take another look at the strikeout pitch. Eckersley had McGee off stride. He went away with him.
Strikeout number 1 for Eckersley, and Tommy Herr, who's 0 for 2, steps up. He grounded to Sandberg, grounded out Durham to Eckersley in the 3rd. Broken bat, looper to left field. Brian Dayette on the run. He can't get to it. The first hit of the year for Tommy Herr.
They have to be very cautious playing the outfield here. Dayette pulled up and played that one on that big hop in left.
I don't know if you can practice that, Dwayne, but it seems to me like the Cardinals break more bats and loop the ball over the infield more times than any team I've ever seen.
And then they stick a guy like this in the middle of that lineup, and all he does is drive in runs.
A beast among the fleas. And sometimes Jack Clark looks like a beast to the opposing pitchers. He hits the ball as hard as anyone around. Hit .281 last year, 22 home runs, 87 RBIs. And he's 1 for 1 today with a run scored against Eckersley. Good move to first. Tommy Herr has become an excellent base runner, despite the fact he doesn't have the great speed anymore. 3 knee operations have taken care of that. Yet he stole 31 bases last year. That fastball misses down. Clark says he's getting more comfortable at first base with each passing day, and the people around St. Louis feel that he's becoming a pretty decent first baseman. Long drive left field, well hit. Brian Dayette back. He's back on the warning track, and he hauls it down.
Well, a beastly drive by the beast there, but Dayette had room to make the play. He had a pretty good pitch to jump on, and he did. It was up a little bit out over the plate.
Gives you an idea how tough it is to hit the ball out of this park. Andy Van Slyke's 1 for 1 with an RBI and a run scored. Popped up. Sean Dunston calling for it. And that's going to be it. So Eckersley gets out of a jam. 1 hit, 1 left. And at the end of 5 full innings, Cardinals on top 3-1. Steve Stone and Dwayne Stats back in St. Louis. Tom Boswell, the fine sports writer of the Washington Post, wrote a book, Why Life Begins on Opening Day. And I don't know about you, Dwayne, but I feel pretty happy that baseball season is here. I mean, I spend the whole winter in the closet just waiting for baseball to come around.
Sure you do. It begins because spring training is now so long.
It feels like a couple of months during the spring. Bobby Dernier to lead off the 6th inning. He's 0 for 2. And Ownby falls behind 2-0, and the Cubs would like to get something going. Rick Ownby has gotten a lot more confidence since the first couple of innings. That fastball catches the outside corner. You're right when you said that he takes something off to get the ball over at times, Dwayne. That was an off-speed pitch. Catching the inside corner. Count evens at 2-2.
You'd like to see the Cubs get out in front on the count 3-0, 3-1. See him try to take something off, and then perhaps the Cubs could do some damage.
Line drive foul. Well, congratulations have to go out to Craigie Harris, Arnie Harris's youngest offspring. Arnie doesn't make many hits at the racetrack, but Craig came through with a couple yesterday as his ball club. Came through with a big win. Arnie, where does he get his athletic talent from, Arlene? That one's fouled off down the third baseline. Count holds at 2-2.
You mean he doesn't hit that often at the track? I shouldn't take those tips.
Don't take any tips from Arnie. Foul back. Good battle between Ownby and Dernier. Bobby doesn't strike out a lot. He will shorten his swing considerably with 2 strikes, and he's got a good eye at the plate. Manny Trio on deck, be followed by Ryan Sandberg. Cubs trail 3-1. Cardinals have out hit the Cubs 4-2. He got him. Turned over the fastball, got it to sink.
Well, the Cubs early in the game against Ownby, as opposed to the other night when they were a little conservative, tried to force the issue, and they lost a couple base runners. They elected to do that as opposed to try to wait Ownby and his control problems out. It didn't work out for him. They did score a run in the 4th, and now down by 2 here in the 6th.
Manny Trio 1 for 1 with a base on balls. Steps up with 1 out. And he looks at a fastball down. Well, the Cubs are going to face Larry McWilliams on Friday, Rick Rhoden on Saturday, Rick Russell on Sunday. Cubs are going to counter with Steve Trout tomorrow night. Scott Sanderson on Saturday, and probably Rick Sutcliffe on Sunday. And want to pass along get well wishes to Rick's mother. He left the ball club today to see her in Kansas City. She is under the weather. 2-1 count on Trio. After Pittsburgh is off to Montreal, where the Cubs play 2 against the Expos. Fouled off down the first baseline.
And where's that place we hit April the 18th? It's called home.
It'll be a happy day when we get there. I've got enough clothes on this trip after coming from spring training to last us for about 6 weeks.
I notice those trunks you've been hauling around.
That's the elephant I keep with me. Fly ball to right field, slicing away from Andy Van Slyke on the run, and he can't get to it. The ball falls foul. Boston on top of Detroit 4-1.
Another look at Van Slyke. He chases into the shadows after that foul ball, but just out of his reach.
Trio has played a good solid third base. Back up the middle, base hit. So Manny Trio comes through. He's 2 for 2. He's been on base all 3 times.
The insertion of Trio and Dayette in the lineup, I think, gives us an idea that Jim Fry will use the squad. He'll mix them in, and according to the circumstances under which he's playing, try to come up with the right combination.
Well, he said it doesn't mean that Say and Matthews are not going to play. He just wants to evaluate the playing surface, the team he's playing, and the pitcher he's facing every ball game, and figure out the best men to win that game. Fly ball center field. Well hit. Willie McGee back on the warning track, and he hauls it in. Well, this is like trying to hit him out of Yellowstone Park.
Well, that ball was well tagged, but it's 414 feet to center field. Cardinals get the bullpen up. Righty and the lefty. The right-hander Baver and the left-hander Perry.
Right fielder Keith Portland.
McGee looked like a receiver in the end zone waiting for this one.
Keith Moreland looks at a strike. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. Manny Trio at first base, 2 out. Misses with a forkball. Well, that ball's a home run in most of the parks around the National League, but not here in St. Louis. Fouled back this way. And the net would have come in handy once again, Dwayne.
They're getting closer, Steve.
We could start a ball business if you'd bring one of those nets with you on the road.
Stick it in your trunk.
Outfield straight away. Moreland in a hole, 1-2. Protecting the plate and fouls it off. That's one thing that Keith Moreland has learned over the last 3 or 4 years. He's an excellent two-strike hitter, something that a lot of hitters around the National League don't want to get into. They get over anxious. They swing at a pitcher's pitch with 1 strike on him. Moreland waits, trying to work the count. More times than not, comes through. Great play by Terry Pendleton, robs Moreland of a base hit, and that's it for the Cubs. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. End of 5 1/2. The Cardinals defense 3. The Cubs 1. Terry Pendleton to lead off the 6th inning against Dennis Eckersley. And he looks at one up high. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. And what a play he made to end the Cub half of the 6th inning.
He's going to have springs somewhere in those ankles or knees or feet somewhere. They're spring loaded.
Chopper to Sandberg. He'll have to hurry. Fires across and gets him.
Here's a look at that play made by Pendleton on the ball hit by Moreland. That ended the top half of this inning. Moreland is reaching out, trying to line it over the head of Pendleton. We talk about vertical leap. Pendleton gets up there and makes the grab. It's tough to recall any better defense than the defense the Cardinals throw at you.
Cubs are probably figuring where they have to hit the ball to get it by these guys. They've caught everything these 2 games. Mike Heath 0 for 1, grounded out, was hit by a pitch by Eckersley in the 4th inning. Crowds in with a fastball, falls behind, 2-0. Ozzie Smith on deck. I can't remember a better defensive club.
Oh, I can't.
Ground ball to Trio. Up with it, fires across, and retires Heath for out number 2. You know, when you look at everything they can do, there's pretty good arms in the outfield, although not great arms. Probably Coleman is the weakest. But the infield defense is without a peer. Ozzie at shortstop, maybe the greatest to ever play the position. Jim Fry was talking about the things that he can do that just consistently amaze you. And and Pendleton can play with anybody. Ozzie Smith 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, and it was his single with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. That's the margin in this game. Cardinals on top 3-1. They've out-hit the Cubs 4-3. Leon Durham has it on the hop, fires across to Eckersley, and that's it for the Cardinals. Harry will be rejoining me for the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Dwayne, it's been fun.
Let's get a couple runs here on this team if we can.
End the 6th full. Cardinals ahead 3-1.
With Steve Stone, this is Harry Carey. We're back at Bush Memorial Stadium going to the top of the 7th. Time running out for the Cubs. They trail by 2. Here's Leon Durham. 0 for 2 today, 1 out of 6 for the new season. Owenby's pitch. And it's a fastball outside.
Baller and Fraser warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs.
Owenby. The delivery. Swings and he fouls it back. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Owenby has given Whitey Herzog today just exactly what Whitey hoped he would do. Now the pitch, here it is. High outside.
One thing Whitey doesn't do, Harry, is hesitate in the late innings. If his pitcher falters at all, he's got the bullpen going, and he's not going to wait too long with Owenby.
2 balls and a strike. Ball 3 gets away from Mike Heath. Jody Davis on deck. There's a good look at the bull. Line, but it's going to be foul into the corner. And it's a full count of 3-2. With all his long counts, Owenby has walked just 3, and those came in the first 2 innings. 3-2 pitch. He walked him, ball 4. So that's his 4th base on balls.
I got to believe that'll start the bullpen going. Whitey Herzog is not the most patient of managers.
There they go. Here's Jody Davis looking for his first hit of the season. Now ready. Fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. Owen B. struggling here in the 7th, but with a 2-run lead. Low, ball 2. Brian Dayette, it's on. Here is Mike Rourke, the pitching coach, coming out for a little huddle with Owen B. He's held the Cubs to only 1 run for the first 6 innings.
The paid attendance, 32,952.
32,952 paid.
Stadium is 34,136.
A total of 34,136 here. And so in the 2 games, they drew about 83,000 people. All right, the huddle breaks up. The pitching coach trots back into the dugout.
Rourke was telling Ownby to be careful with this fastball. It's 2-0. Jody's going to be looking for a fastball, realizing Ownby's missed with 2 breaking balls. You don't want to see this thing tied up on 1 pitch.
2 balls. We want to see it tied up.
Well, we would love to see it tied up on 1 pitch.
Ball 3, a breaking ball. 3 balls, no strikes. Dayette on deck. We're in the 7th. Now the delivery, here it is. Strike call at the knee. 3-1.
Leon has got to get a good jump off first base and a good lead, because on a ground ball he's got to break up 2 with the infield in.
Jody Davis with a count of 3-1, looking for his first hit of the season. Calls time, steps out of the batter's box. The delivery, base hit like a bullet into center field. The tying runs are on with nobody out. And here's Dayette looking for his first hit of the season.
I got to believe that this is going to be it for Rick Ownby. I wouldn't believe it if Whitey Herzog left him in any longer. Mike Heath is coming out. I think it's just a delaying tactic as Brian Dayette goes to talk with Don Zimmer.
He has gotten 6 innings out of him, and that's probably more than he really expected. And here comes Whitey now, and that's going to be all for Rick Ownby. The only verdict that he could get would be a victory. There's no way he could be a loser in this game, because he leaves with a 2-run lead and only 2 men on. So the worst he could be accounted for would be the tying run. We have a new pitcher coming in.
Todd Worrell is the new pitcher. He's a hard-throwing right-hander, and Rick Ownby gets a big hand from an appreciative Busch Stadium crowd.
Todd Worrell, who came up out of the minor leagues last year in September and did quite a job for the Cardinals, finally ran into trouble in the decisive game of the World Series.
Last year he was 3-0 for St. Louis with a 2.91 ERA, made 17 appearances, all in relief. At Louisville he was 8-6 with a 3.60 ERA, and they didn't know what they wanted to do with him at Louisville. He was in 34 games. He started 17, but his whole career turned around when they moved him into the bullpen. What happened was he was starting and running into trouble in the 5th and 6th. So they figure if they make him a short reliever, he never has to throw that long, and he's got a good fastball and a hard slider. He looks like a promising youngster for the Cardinals.
Joe Horner Former relief pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, among others. Now in the travel business here in the St. Louis area. Originally from Dubuque. Wanting to be remembered to all the home folks. And our dear friend for many years, Dolan Walsh of Darcy Advertising, which handles the Budweiser account. Enjoying the game here with us. Who's pitching for us tomorrow night? It'll be Larry McWilliams for the Pirates.
Steve Trout, Scott Sanderson on Saturday, and probably Rick Sutcliffe on Sunday. I would assume, depending on the health of his mother.
Rick Russell is due to pitch Sunday for the Pirates. Rick Rhoden on Saturday, and McWilliams, I mentioned, tomorrow night. We'll be with you from Pittsburgh at 6:30 Chicago time tomorrow night. So Worrell making his first appearance of the new year. Tall, rangy fireballer. They time him about 95, 96 miles an hour. He was the loser in that last game of the World Series, in one game of the World Series. Here's the pitch to Dayette. He was going to bunt. The strike is called. Dayette, a good fastball hitter. Worrell, a great fastball pitcher. Zimmer gave him the signal. See whether the bunt is still on. I'd like to see him hit away. The pitch. Bunts it foul. Oh, I tell you, it's going to be hard to advance anybody. Well, those jackrabbits who come charging in from every angle.
I agree with you, Harry. I would have liked to have seen him swing away and get 3 shots at it, because they were standing right next to him when he tried to bunt the ball, and he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to lay the ball down.
Now he's in the hole 0-2. So Worrell with Sean Dunston on deck. Look out, look out, look out! Into center field. Come on, advance! And the runner at third is at third now, Durham. Jody Davis, being very slow, was not able to advance.
Jody had a shot at moving up, but he didn't know how close Willie McGee was in center field. Leon Durham alertly picked up the ball right away and was able to advance. And now with an 0-2 count, the base runners have got to be very aware of that short pass ball. Worrell, a youngster, might decide to waste one down.
Now the pitch. High fastball. Boy, there's no tricks about pitching with Worrell. He says, give me the ball and let me see how hard I can throw it.
And that's pretty hard. He's got a great arm.
High. He threw a breaking ball, a little slider that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Dayette.
They're going to go for 2 here, and Jody's got to get a bigger lead off first than he's got.
The 2-2 pitch. Ooh, he had a good rip at that one, but he fouled it off. Oh, I'd like to have seen him connect with that one. He had his bat out there perfectly timed for the speed of that fastball. He wasn't behind at all or in front. He just simply didn't get it. 2-2 the count. Now the pitch. Ball 3. 3-2. Ah, this Bud's for you. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball game on the line. Now ready. The pitch. Fouled it back, had a good cut. Full count, 3-2. And I will say, after conceding him the first 2 pitches trying to bunt, Dayette has hung in there very tough.
Well, if he throws him anything but a fastball here, Brian Dayette's going to be the most surprised man in the park. Looks like power against power. The great fastball pitcher against the very good fastball hitter.
Now the stretch. Walked him and the bases are loaded. Boy, what a great job of hitting by Dayette. After failing to sacrifice on the first 2 pitches. He was put in a corner 0-2. But he hung in there, battled tough, and drew a big base on ball.
Frazier and Baller still throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs. Perry still throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals.
But here's the situation. Cardinals are leading 3-1. The Cubs had the bases loaded with nobody out. And Sean Dunston is at the plate.
Jim Fry has a couple of left-handers to choose from and a couple of very good hitters in Mumphrey and Bosley, with Eckersley due up next.
A left-hander warming up for the Cardinals. The infield's playing back for a double play. Whoa, he swung at a bad ball. Strike 1.
Sean Dunston's batting average is going to increase with his knowledge of the strike zone, and the one thing he doesn't want to do is help out a pitcher who just walked a man after having him in a hole 0-2.
Oh, he swung at a terrible pitch. 0-1. The delivery. Fouls it back, and he's in the hole. Also 0-2. Eckersley due next. They have a left-hander in the bullpen. Worrell is ready. The pitch. Struck him out swing. Took 3 pitches.
And it's going to be Jerry Mumphrey.
Now, by using Mumphrey, who's a switch hitter, manager Jim Fry is sure to have the percentage so far as the platoon is concerned.
4 hits, 3 runs earned.
Now, what Herzog has to make a decision on, would he rather see Mumphrey batting right-handed, or would he rather see him hitting left-handed?
Well, I'm sure if he had his choice, he'd rather see him hitting right-handed, but I don't think he's going to go away from Worrell, who looks to be his stopper, especially with Jeff Lottie on the shelf. Lottie's experienced some problems with his right shoulder, so Worrell is going to have to take the burden in that bullpen, much like Lee Smith does for the Cubs. Coming to a new ball club, you like nothing better than to come through in your first situation.
All right, Mumphrey, the pinch hitter. Cubs are trailing 3-1. Infield playing back. A high pop foul out of play into the Cubs bullpen. Strike 1. Worrell lost his game in the World Series in that 6th game. He gave up that hit to Orge, you know, that drove in the tying and winning runs. Mumphrey, a good opposite field type of hitter. And I doubt if he'll be able to pull a fastball pitcher like Todd Worrell. Oh, for 1 in the gap. Way wide. That evens it up. A ball and a strike. Bases jam, 1 out. Cubs trail 3-1. We're in the 7th. High ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Oh, I wish. Well, it's all over now, but the first pitch that Dunston swung at, it was such a bad ball. If he'd have had the pitcher behind. Now the delivery. Swings late and he fouls it back. And now Worrell's got him set up for a strikeout, which is what he wants.
Jerry's going to have to tune it up a notch because he hasn't even been close to hitting the ball fair against Worrell, who is throwing exceptionally hard here this afternoon.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. There's a long drive in the left center field. It's going to be caught, but a run will score. 3-2 ball game. Vince Coleman went back near the warning track. He hit that ball well. Up to Bobby Dernier now.
Mumphrey tried their weakest outfielder, but Vince Coleman was up to the task. This ball slicing away from him. He stays with it and hauls it down.
Going to take an extra base hit to score Jody. Bobby Dernier hitless so far today. 1 out of 7 for the new season. Worrell's pitch. Swung and he missed. Cubs had runners at first and third in the 4th. With nobody out, Moreland, Durham, and Davis coming up. They only got 1 run. They had the bases loaded and nobody out in this inning. So far, they've gotten only 1 run. Ground ball, that'll end the inning. From Ozzie Smith to Tommy Herr, and Worrell did a great job. 1 run. Charge to Owenby. 1 hit. 2 men left on base. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Cardinals are leading 3-2. Harry Carey back in St. Louis as we go down to the bottom of the 7th. 3-2, the Cardinals are leading. Cubs had a marvelous opportunity. A key man was Sean Dunston with the bases loaded, nobody out, but he struck out on 3 pitches. Then Mumphrey came off the bench and almost cleared Vince Coleman's head. Coleman used that quickness of his to get back there, caught the ball, making it only a sacrifice fly rather than an extra base hit.
Jay Baller has taken over for Dennis Eckersley. He threw 1 inning opening night. 1 walk.
Here's the pitch, swung and he missed. Worrell, the hitter, trying to pick up the save for Rick Owenby's. He's a pitcher record. He bunts again. Bunting foul on the 3rd strike. And that's a strikeout for Ballard. Eckersley worked 6 innings. Allowed 3 runs. Only 4 hits. He walked 3 and he hit 1. Here's Coleman. Fastball outside.
Last time up, Manny Trio made a remarkable play on Coleman to save 2 runs and keep the Cubs in the ball game. He dove toward the line and flagged down his line drive.
There's a pitch, a little high ball, 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Coleman walked in the 1st and scored on a base hit with 2 out by Van Slyke. Swung and he missed. Coleman looking for his first hit of the season. He's 0 for 6. Now Ballard's pitch. Come on, don't walk. 1 out. Three balls and a strike. Now the delivery. Walked it. That'll bring up Willie McGee, and he's dangerous here. He hasn't had a hit this season. 0 for 7.
Coleman has not attempted a stolen base this year, but look for him to attempt his first in this situation. Willie McGee usually takes the first pitch, giving Coleman a chance if he wants to run. The Cubs might be tempted to pitch out.
Here's Coleman, a pretty good lead. Baller ready. He doesn't go. Strike call. Throw to first, runner back. Now the Cardinals have made a total of 6 hits in the 2 ball games. And they haven't trailed yet. Again, they throw over there and he's back. Yeah, Arnie. Arnie observes. What if I had told you, he said. Here's the pitch. Balk.
It looked like a pitch out that Jody moved out for, Harry, and for some reason Jay Baller threw the ball down the middle of the plate. Let's watch it again and see if Baller hesitates.
No, he didn't hesitate.
And that's when Terry Tata called it a balk. So pressure on the pitcher. That's what Vince Coleman does every time you put him on base.
On 1 the count on Willie McGee. Now Jody Davis wants to talk to Baller. They try to pitch so carefully to Coleman. Look at that. If somebody had told you before the series started that Coleman and McGee would be 0 for 13 in the first 2 games and that the Cardinals never had lost the lead in either game, you think you wouldn't believe it. Here he fouls off the pitch. 0-2. Coleman a good lead. Outside fastball. Willie McGee, who led the National League in hitting on his way to being the league's most valuable player last year, is 0 for 7 so far this season. Oh, boy. Dunston cut in behind the runner, but Ballard did not react.
What happens sometimes, Harry, is you have the ball gripped for a slider, and when the man breaks in back, you don't want to throw the ball to second, but he did the right thing. He stepped off the rubber.
The pitch. A high pop foul, out of play, into the stand. Each team with 4 hits. The only error of the ball game belongs to the Cardinals on Owenby's wild throw. Todd Worrell came in to put out the fire after the bases were loaded with nobody out. Bouncing ball to Dunston.
Dunston took his eye off the ground ball because he was looking at Willie McGee breaking toward third, and he couldn't decide what to do. It's a chopper. Coleman running. And you know what's going through Dunston's mind, but he just doesn't execute.
Yeah. Here's her. What a big run. 4-2. It's an error. That's Dunston's second in 2 games. Here's her now. Good fastball, a strike call. Time is called. McGee still hasn't had a hit. 0 for 8. Coleman 0 for 6.
Willie stole 56 bases last year. Jay Ballard's going to have to hold him very close at first in this situation.
Got a different bat, I guess. Dunston was jockeying around behind Coleman. Ballard never to throw back there. And I don't think he was in position, really, to field the ball that was hit right at him. It went right past him. Right over his glove for an error. Herr 1 out of 3 today. It was his first hit of the new year. There goes the runner. There's the peg. Bounces again. Stolen base. Jody's had all kinds of problems throwing to second base.
He's thrown to second base 3 times, and he's bounced all 3 throws. This time, Willie McGee gets a good jump. Tommy Herr protecting him. You can see a futile swing. And Jody fires the ball low once again. There has not been an extra base hit, Harry, in either of these games by either team. Watch it again from behind McGee. And he's in pretty easily at second.
1-2 the count. Fouled it back to the screen. A lot of these guys hit all these home runs. Brett had 2 homers last night. Downing had 2 home runs in the American League.
Presley had a couple.
Presley. He struck him out swinging. That's 2 gone. The inning should be over. Here's Clark. Curveball in there, a strike called. Oh, what a big extra run to pick up. Especially costly because you gave it to them. They didn't earn it. Here's a fastball inside. A ball and a strike. That error not only allowed a run, but it prolonged the inning to where a man with home run power now comes up, whereas otherwise he would not. But it's all part of the game, isn't it? 2 balls and a strike. You know, Clark will be swinging if the pitch is good. Good breaking ball. 2-2. Looking ahead to the 8th will be trio Sandberg and Moreland if anybody gets on Durham. A little low. The White Sox, after losing their first 2 to Milwaukee, are on their way to their first victory. They're leading 5-1 in the 5th. Kansas City leads the Yankees 5-4 in the 9th. He struck him out. 1 run without a hit. 1 error and 1 left. So at the end of 7, Cardinals are leading 4-2. With Steve Stone, Harry Carey, as we go into the top of the 8th, a very exciting ball game, but the Cardinals are leading. Here's the pitch. Fastball high. Worrell throwing about 98 miles an hour. Big, tall, rangy right-hander. Ball 2 is low. He walked the first man he faced to fill the bases with nobody out. And the first pitch he threw to Dunston was a foot outside, but Dunston swung. Who knows what the sequence would have been had he taken that one, with a pitcher pressing to try to get the ball over. There's ball 3. Trio on base every time so far today. Cubs trailing by 2 after they got to within 1. He walked him on 4 pitches.
Outstanding effort by Manny Trio today. He's been on base all 4 times, and now Mike Rourke is coming out to talk with Todd Worrell. And the one thing that can get Worrell in trouble, much like Rick Ownby, is his control.
Ownby worked 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. Walked 4 and struck out 2. Worrell has already walked 2. But he didn't give up the hit, which would have hurt the Cardinals. Mumphrey did hit the ball very well off of him, but a long sacrifice fly on which only 1 run scored. And then Bobby Dernier rolled out. Here's Sandberg. He's walked, stole, singled, and flied out. Low outside, ball 1.
Ken Daly warming up the bullpen for the Cardinals. That's 5 straight bad ones for Worrell.
Ball 2, that's 6 in a row. 2 balls, no strikes.
You can bet they're getting Daly ready for Durham.
Daly, a 27-year-old left-hander, used to be with other clubs. There's a good fastball, strike call. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station. The pitch to Sandberg. Strike 2, a bullet. He thought it was low. Two and 2 the count. I'd like to have had the gun on that pitch. 2-2 delivery. Double play ball. Hurd to Smith. 4-6-3.
They make it look easy. Perfect flip from Tommy Hurd to Ozzie Smith, who comes across the bag and fires a strike to first. Not too many teams do it better than the Cardinals. When they get an opportunity, they don't miss it too often.
Here's Moreland. Cardinals leading the Cubs 4-2. Cardinals will beat the Cubs 14 out of 18 last year. Ran them ragged as far as stolen bases. We're all hoping that with this season opening series, we turn the thing around like '84 when the Cubs beat the Cardinals 13 out of 18. There's a smash into center, a base hit. And here's Durham coming up now. A long one would tie it. Again, the Cubs have out-hit the Cardinals, but are losing. They out-hit them 5-2 Tuesday night, but were beaten 2-1. Have out-hit them 5-4 today, and are losing 4-2. Good fastball. Oh, I just think the talent that's involved. Fella throwing the ball this hard, throwing a little round ball, and you got a round bat up there, and you're supposed to hit this ball square. Outside. 1-1. Just think how the reflexes that are involved. Picking the ball up with your eyes. The message to swing the bat where you think the ball is. High, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Moreland at first base. Moreland with 1 hit in each game. Drove in his first run of the year. Cubs have made a total of only 3 in the 2 games. Had a good cut, but he fouled it off. 2 balls and a strike. Two and 2 now. Ruben Amaro coaching at first. Don Zimmer at third. Ball 3. Moreland, see now, they want to make sure of the count. 3-2, 2 out. Here it is. Fouled it back and out of play. Moreland breaking on the pitch, of course. This is the automatic hit and run with 2 out. 3-2 the count. There hasn't been an extra base hit in this series. Fouled it back again. Had a good rip at that. Worrell just keeps throwing fastballs. Pop foul. That may stay in play. Near the stands, out of play. Hey, get a shot of Yosh down there, Arnie. Yosh in the runway, right next to the dugout. There he is. Gosh, he's been with the Cubs, I think, around 50 years. Cubs equipment manager. Before the Wrigley people sold the ball club, they had it documented that Yosh Kawana would have a lifetime job. Ball 4, still alive.
Durham really battled him for that base on balls, much like Brian Dayette did earlier. The Bull earned it.
Jody Davis at the plate. Jody, don't try to pull this guy. Just hit him into the opposite field.
Preferably the seats so nobody can catch it.
Durham has enough speed to score on an extra base hit.
They're playing Jody very deep in all fields.
Right down the middle.
If you're an outfielder in this situation, you think about giving up the base hit, but you don't want to let the ball get by you. Let the tying run score from first base. So you have to play a little deeper than usual.
1 strike to nothing. Wide. Evens the count 1-1. Runners at first and second. 2 men are out.
What
Cubs
is it?
Trail by 2.
What is it you say, Harry? 0 for the long one?
Yeah. High. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Moreland at second. Durham at first. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Brian Dayette is on deck. The 3-1 pitch by Worrell. Strike 2 call. Now the runners will be going with a pitch. That'll enhance further the chances of scoring from first base on an extra base hit because of the running start. 3-2, 2 out, 2 on. 2 behind. There they go. Here it is. A high pop foul. Gonna be near the stands and out of play.
Well, Moreland had 3 breaks off first base, now 1 off second. Somebody's going to have to take the oxygen to him soon.
Three and two out, 2 runs behind. Top of the 8th. Jody Davis against Todd Worrell. The pitch, the runners go. Struck him out. Jody Davis called out on strike. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals leading 4-2. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th. 4-2 in favor of the Cardinals. It looked like Jody Davis was looking for a pitch to the inner portion of the plate that he could pull, and the fastball hit that outside corner just about the belt for a called 3rd strike. Jody tried to influence the umpire the other way by dropping his bat as if thinking it was ball 4, but here we go with Van Slyke. Cardinals have made 6 runs this season. Van Slyke has driven in 3 of them, including the only 2 they made Tuesday night, and 1 of the 4 they made today. There's a strike call, and Van Slyke's in the hole. 0-2.
It's a new pitch that Jay Baller added, that changeup. It's going to give him a good weapon against left-handers especially.
Pull foul. .32 degrees in Montreal. It's snowing in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's our next stop. We'll be there tonight And then next week we play in Montreal Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. Telecast time at 6:30 tomorrow night. Chicago time. I had to say Central Standard Time. There's a drive deep center field. Bobby Dernier makes the catch on the run. Van Slyke flies deep to Dernier. One out.
Bobby Dernier has this ball measured all the way and then just glides under it. Nice catch by Dernier.
I was over in the radio booth, of course, on the base hit by Ozzie Smith. It looked like Dernier maybe didn't see the ball right away.
He didn't get a great break, but you got to play different outfield on AstroTurf, Harry, because if you do make a mistake and overcharge the ball, it's an inside the park home run. I think Bobby waits back a little bit more on turf.
Here's Pendleton on the first pitch. Dayette going back, makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. And here's Mike Heath. Boy, the break in this ball game was in that inning when they scored the 2 runs. Runners were at second and third with 1 out, and the count on Heath was 0-2. That was important because Ozzie Smith, if they were able to retire Heath, they would have walked Ozzie Smith intentionally with 2 out to pitch to the pitcher, Rick Owenby. But with 0-2, Eckersley hit Heath. It's unusual to see Eckersley walking 3 and hitting 1 in 6 innings. Two out. Heath hits a ground ball to Dunston. There's the peg. Whoa, he almost pulled him off the bag. Nice stretch by Durham. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. At the end of 8, Cardinals lead 4-2.
Because of regulations.
Harry Carey back in St. Louis. Brian Dayette's going to lead it off here in the 9th inning. You know, we have the WGN equipment, the truck and cameras. A lot of the St. Louis cameramen are here working with us too, but 3 of our people from Chicago, along with Arnie Harris, of course, Joe Carneo handling our graphics, and Vern Blakely and Bob Bruner, our cameraman. Dayette takes the pitch high. Dayette has walked twice and flied out. You realize there hasn't been an extra base hit in the series. Either both teams have great pitching or both teams have lousy hitting.
And I think we can assume the Cardinals hitting is usually pretty dependable, but I think the Cubs have done a real good job on the mound. Everybody they've put in there has thrown the ball well.
2 balls, no strikes. All 3.
Talk about performance between Dayette and Trio today. They've been on base 6 times, heading for 7.
Now the delivery. Strike call. Right-hander down the bullpen now. For the Cardinal. Strike 2. Full count, 3-2.
Looks like Joe Baver.
Ball 4. For the 3rd time today, Dayette walks. Laurel has walked 4 men. Owenby walked 4. That's 8 bases on balls, 5 hits, and the Cubs have scored only 2 runs.
Thad Bosley going to pinch hit.
Dunston batted for himself with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 7th and struck out on 3 pitches. Bosley now is going to bat for him with a runner at first. Swung and he missed the fastball. Bosley in '84 won a ball game here with a 9th inning homer. I'd settle for a game tying 9th inning homer. Strike 2 call.
Gary Matthews in the on-deck circle and Lee Smith warming up in the bullpen.
Oh, and 2 the count. Drove him back a little bit. 1 and 2. 34,000 plus here today. Cubs have out-hit the Cardinals for the 2nd game in a row, but have never led in a ball game. Foul tipped. 1 and 2 the count. We're in the 9th. Nobody out. Cubs hoping to get something going here. Bosley digging in. Fouled it back. Worrell has given up only 1 hit. Has walked 4 in his 3rd inning of relief. Fouled it out of play into the stand. And Bosley hanging in tough. We'll be with you at 6:30 Central Standard Time from Pittsburgh tomorrow night. There's a high drive. Well hit, but an easy out in this ballpark. Willie McGee. Here's Gary Matthews batting for Ballard. Ballard did well. Pitched 2 innings, didn't allow a hit. 1 run scored on an error by Dunston.
1 run.
And he fanned 3.
1 walk. 3 strikeouts. 1 walk.
High fastball.
One thing that will help the Sarge against a pitcher like Worrell, he won't swing at too many bad pitches. He's got one of the better eyes in the league.
Swings and he fouls it back. One and 1 the count. Threw that one right by him. Double play ball. This game's going to be over. Out at second. 6-4-3 and out. And the Cardinals have swept the series from the count. We'll be back with the totals in a moment. With Steve Stone and Harry Carey back at Bush Memorial Stadium. Excuse me a minute. Got to move the air plug. Well, another tough ball game to lose. Cubs could have won both of these games, could have lost both of them, and did lose both of them.
Well, the Cubs played pretty well today. A couple of mistakes, but not too many, and the pitching was good. The one thing that happened here today, as it did the other night, was that the Cardinal pitching was a little too tough, and their defense, Harry, was spectacular.
It really was. I think this is what makes their pitching so good, is their defense. Now, here's Owen B. When was the last time he won a game in the Major League?
1983, that as a reliever. 1982 as a starter, but he won one today.
And a big one, because I I'm sure that Whitey Herzog knew that he was gambling. He's got some pitching injuries. He was forced to start Owenby, and he gave him 6 real good innings. The Cubs had some great chances, just weren't able to capitalize.
Well, they did have a lot of opportunities today, but the double play ball hurt them. Some fine plays at third base by Terry Pendleton. Willie McGee, as usual, in center field, running everything down. The Cubs didn't hit the ball very hard against the pitching, and Todd Worrell came in, and he really shut the door.
You know, there's one play I know it's going to be written about and talked about, and this, of course, is the chore that managers take on when they accept these jobs. With the bases loaded in the 7th inning and trailing by a couple of runs, Sean Dunston, the batter, left-handed batter's waiting on the bench. Do you think he was just trying to build up the kid's confidence, or do you think he really thought he would hit Worrell?
Well, I don't know if he was thinking about Worrell, but I think he thought in the second game of the season, Harry, he wanted to build up the confidence of Dunston. If Dunston comes through at all, they've got a kid for the rest of the year who might do a pretty good job for him. And I think going through Jim Fry's mind is the fact that he's committed pretty much 162 games to Dunston at shortstop, and he wanted to see him come through with a big hit.
Well, I'll see you on that United Airlines charter in a couple of minutes. And we got a game tomorrow night.
And you know I'll be there.
Okay. All right, here are the totals now for the victorious St. Louis Cardinals. 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 error. Owenby the winner. He's now 1-0. And the save, of course, goes to Todd Worrell. Worrell in 3 innings walked 4 and allowed 1 hit, but came out unscathed. For the Cubs, 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. The loser is Eckersley. So the Cubs have lost both with Sutcliffe and with Eckersley, their number 1 and their number 2 pitchers. They've out-hit the Cardinals each day, but still lost the ballgame. And the Cardinals, just to give you an idea, the Cardinals in this whole series of 2 games made a total of 6 singles, 6 one-base hits, and still won them both. I didn't think it would be the year of the Redbird again, but from the looks of things in this short series, Dame Fortune has not yet deserted them as they beat the Cubs 4-2 here today and sweep the 2-game series. Well, whether you're a Cub fan or a Cardinal fan or whatever kind of a fan, this is Harry Carey from St. Louis reminding you that this buds for you. So long, everybody.